Alright guys, today we're going to look at starting to find some of those specific pieces of a parabola. Okay, so today we're going to work on finding the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Okay, so before we even get into that, what I want you to do is take a second and just draw coordinate plane. I'm just going to draw the first quadrant. And then just draw a quick little parabola. Okay, it doesn't matter if yours looks exactly like mine, that's fine. Then what I want you to do is label as many of those pieces that we talked about yesterday as possible, all those different parts. Pause and then come back after you've done that. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. This piece, that little minimum value, is called the vertex. These two places are called the x-intercepts. They're also called the roots. Okay, both you should know both of those names. Okay, and then this imaginary line that goes down the middle is called the axis of symmetry. Okay, those are your really important parts of a parabola. Other important parts would be the y-intercept if it went through there too. Okay, so standard form for a parabola is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so it's the same standard form that we'd have if it were equal to 0 instead of y that we use when we're talking about the quadratic formula. So y equals is the standard form for a parabola. Now, one of the things that we'll do later on in the chapter is we'll just take a look at a bunch of different graphs and try to figure out what A does, what B does, and what C does. But for right now, what we want to be able to do is use A, B, and C to figure out the vertex. Okay, and the key is the x value of your vertex is negative b over 2a. Okay, it's negative b over 2a. And then to find the y value of your vertex, all you're going to do is you're going to plug in negative b over 2a for x and then find y. Okay, so here, just like in the quadratic formula, you label your numbers the same way. My a is 2, my b is 8, and my c is 5. I'm going to find negative b over 2a, so that's negative 8 over 2, and my a is 2. And when I simplify that, I get negative 2. So the x value of my vertex is negative 2. To figure out my y value, well, I've got an equation for the vertex, and I'm going to plug that in for the x, and then all I'm going to do is evaluate the right hand side of that equation, and I get 8 minus 16 plus 5, which is negative 8 plus 5, or negative 3. So my vertex is negative 2, negative 3. My axis of symmetry is a vertical line that goes through the vertex. Okay, vertical lines are described by x equals and then just a number, and we know the x value that it goes through. It's the same as the x value of the vertex. Okay, so x equals negative 2 is my axis of symmetry. Okay, so really pretty simple process when we're in standard form. There's one thing you have to memorize. You have to memorize that the x value of your vertex is negative b over 2a, and then you have to understand that, okay, once I have an x value, I plug back in to find a y value. So what I want you to do is find the vertex and the axis of symmetry for the 3 practice problems I've given you, the one that's here at the bottom of the page, and then the 2 on the next page. Okay, so try all 3 of those, pause, and then come back. Okay, I'm assuming you have done that by now. So again, my A is 1, B is 4, C is 5. Find negative B over 2A. That's negative 2. That's the x value of my vertex. It's also my axis of symmetry. To find the y value, plug in negative 2. And after I simplify, I get 1. So, my vertex is negative 2, 1, and my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2, the same as it was in the first one. Okay, I'm going to do B, and then I'm going to have you guys talk about C tomorrow in your group, compare, and make sure you had the same answer. So once again, do negative B over 2A. I've got lots of negative signs here, so just make sure they all get in there. I've got 3 total negative signs, so this still will be a negative number. I get negative 4. Plug in the negative 4 for x. And I get negative 32 minus 64 minus plus 64 minus 35. That's 32 minus 35, or negative 3. So I get that my vertex is negative 4, negative 3. My axis of symmetry is x equals negative 4. Okay, so like I said, I'd like you to talk about C in your groups tomorrow, compare some answers, make sure you got them right. That'll be a great check to make sure you know what you're doing.